Good evening, sisters and brothers. This is another report from the Melanin Report. Sister Deanne, author of The Melanin Diet. So we're going to talk about, obviously, melanin, the very most important thing we see every day, trees, birds, etc. It's endless. Our ability is endless. And the most important thing we need to know tonight and going forward is that we were not meant to survive the worst Holocaust on the planet, known to the planet. Our ancestors survived, and therefore we are surviving and thriving. So, with that, we never were meant to survive. They knew exactly what they did to our ancestors and obviously to us in some way. And so, with that, they never meant for us to survive. So, in my estimation, and I'm going by spirit, what I feel from spirit. There have been so many attempts, figuratively and literally, on our lives. So this is undeniable. This is an undeniable fact. But yet we are still here. And that is surprising even to them, that we are still here. Spiritually, emotionally, physically, we have been damaged, although we have been able to overcome at some level, but yet and still there has been a sense of damage beyond repair, some would say. But yet and still, because we have melanin, we are able to thrive and also survive. So we know our mistreatment in the office, in going to the store, whatever the case may be, because we have something that the majority of the planet has. So we're in the majority. I just cringe when I hear our people say or mention us as a minority. We're not minor. We this is an insult to our intelligence. We should not even use that language in the global population. We are a majority, and we have no birth record. So we have been on the planet as long as the planet has existed. So, thousands upon millions of years, our DNA has no birth record. So we just need to recognize that. We need to recognize that. So our very presence, especially in this country, I haven't traveled too much out of the country, to this moment, but I know that in this country, our very presence, is an assault for some reason. This is what they're feeling. It's an assault for us to thrive, to have homes, to have means of transportation. I mean, the fundamentals of life we have amassed, majority of us, not all of us, but majority of us. So that within and of itself, that is in their eyes perhaps an insult to injury, because we shouldn't be here. They're trying to eliminate us, yet we are still here. So our very presence is an absolute threat to the larger society. And yes, we all have friends of another race, and I'm not saying 100%, of our people that we are dealing with, whether it's coworkers or friends, etc. I mean, they're an exception to every rule. So I am not trying to, throw in the kitchen sink, so to speak, but we get it. Our very presence is under attack. Whether we are stopped by the police and or we have a problem in the boardroom or the office or whatever the case may be, we are under assault and we need to recognize that. But yet and still, with that assault, we have something that they do not have: melanin. You know, I just can't emphasize that enough, that our very presence is a threat. So if we consider the word melanated instead of black, we talked about this last night. I kind of brought that up in opening of my discussion. If we can select other on our applications or what have you, it changes the game, if you will, because black has been portrayed in this society and globally as bad. We look up the word black, and we discussed this last night, and it is, horrible, undesirable. I mean, this is all that's, Webster has to offer for the word black. So I challenge you to use the word melanated. And we're not going to see that, maybe not my lifetime, but this would be a very good attempt to select other, because we are black. Melanin is black, but black just has such a negative connotation, and it's not a word that I want to say needs to be used. I know it's used on a daily basis in describing us, etc. But if you say melanated, I mean, because not everyone is melanated. And so that raises the bar of our existence, not only the word, but our actions. Because when you have melanin, you have a higher chance of being great, not being average. Because melanin is in every cell, inner and outer. This is why we have to be careful with our healthcare treatment, because if you go into the room, if you're getting a protocol and no one looks like you may be, not saying, you may be considered experimentation. I've lost several friends, my age or younger, for that very reason. They don't say it, but we don't even know if the diagnosis is correct because of the Tuskegee experiment. We don't even know if this pandemic is an experiment. That's just, my 2 cents of information. So I'm just challenging you to think thoroughly. We have the ability to be beyond our years in intellect, beyond our years in wisdom, beyond our years in knowledge, beyond our years in intellect. So with that combination, there's nothing we cannot be or do or have. There is no thing we cannot be or do or have because we have melanin. This is a gift. I'd like to impart with you the gift of melanin. I chose to have melanin in this lifetime. That's the highest level of expression is melanin. We look around the planet, everything is melanated. Everything, every species, it's just a few with the exception, but we clearly see it. The trees are melanated, the birds are melanated. I mean, the list goes on. So I want you to consider feeling proud of having melanin. The white doll is still being selected. I think it was 2016. They did a study, quote unquote, they did a study. And the white doll with the blonde hair, we haven't made too much progress globally and nationally. So why this is, the Black child is still selecting the white doll. So we have so much to explore in these reports. So it just amazes me that the needle has not moved in any way, because our babies are still seeing, because of the images that they are noticing, subliminally, that, the white doll is preferred by Black children. Now, I'm sure there are exceptions. I'm sure that I would, consider another study. But the last study I read was, I think, 2016. That's the date or the year in my recollection. So we need to recognize that, unfortunately, that's the case. So I am concerned about, this is going to be a touchy subject for some, so close your ears, open up your hearts. So we have a percentage of our community, people who are in the news. I don't want to name any people. I don't want to name anyone specifically because I didn't start with the disclosure. But I want to say there are some people who have made a conscious choice to lighten their skin. If you go into, let's just say, if there's a media personality that has been around for 20 plus years, 30 plus years, or even as soon as early as 10 years ago. I'm not saying it seems like it's more prevalent in Black women, or melanated women, excuse me. I broke my own rules, so sorry about that. So it seems like I've noticed quite a few of our sisters, more specifically, and I'm sure their brothers too, they have lightened their skin. What is that about? It's about self-hatred, perhaps. It's about not feeling beautiful in your chocolate melanated skin that cannot be produced outside of the DNA of your lineage. No one can go into the laboratory and create melanin. Okay? So let's just keep it real. No one has that ability. Scientists, researchers, you cannot create melanin in the laboratory. That's how complex it is. That's how divine it is. And we need to recognize the divinity of having melanin. Now, in the outer, in the society, there has been melanin on melanin crime, and that is so horrific, to bear witness to that. That really, is upsetting at some level to me, because I know that there's been a conscious, albeit subliminal, choice and lesson on this plane, but everyone's having to fulfill it. But nevertheless, when I see that, or I come across an article, etc., of melanin on melanin crime, so we got to look at that, people. We've got to look at that. It's like, well, Black people melanated people live around melanated people, so therefore close proximity and, higher chances of blah, blah, blah. But I beg to differ, because I know that if I see you as a king or queen, and you see me as a king or queen, or excuse me, a queen, um, there's no way I can do harm to my divine self, another divine being. And that's what melanin is. That's what melanin provides. So we have to address more specifically the crime that we see in our community. I guess Chicago, Atlanta. There's certain cities. I've lived in Atlanta. I haven't lived in Chicago, but I have some family members there. But it's off the charts. It's off the charts. So that's going to be another video, because how can you kill another God, quote unquote, little g God or goddess? That's who we are. That's what we are. And we need to recognize that in many ways we are gods. It's in the Bible. I've read, I'm not going to say I'm a biblical scholar, but ye are gods. I know that is a passage. Ye are gods. So we need to go back and perhaps reread that passage again. So with that said, people will say to you, oh, so and so and so, a melanated person is like 50 or 60 or whatever age, and Black don't crack. That's what we hear. We've heard that thousands upon thousands plus upon thousands of times. So yes, quote unquote, Black does not crack. But more importantly, we recognize that if Black don't crack on the outside, which is the skin, which is the largest organ, the organs, obviously, in a melanated person, age very slowly on the inside. The organs age very slowly. If the skin ages slowly, chances are, unless you're in a lot of medication, etc., that could be, a sidebar. But most of our sisters and brothers, their organs are, aging slowly. So if we use, this is going to be controversial. So if we use marijuana, cocaine, all this stuff that are trappings, I'm going to say it. I've used marijuana before. I'm not, going to say anything detrimental because it can be used medicinally. And I know there are definitely benefits if it's, I think when you put it, you light a match to melanin, I mean, gosh, you light a match to marijuana, another M, it changes forms. It definitely changes forms. So we can use um, marijuana medically, definitely. And I'm sure there've been so many benefits beyond measure. So I'm not saying anything about that in the use of it on the medicinal side, but clearly when you light a match, it changes the vibration, it changes the frequency, and unless you're growing it yourself, um, I think it may be cut. I don't know. I'm just saying offhand, we don't know the extent of what's in the marijuana. So just keep that in mind, and just keep that in mind. So the only other few other items that I want to discuss this evening is, again, back to black don't crack, melanin don't crack, if you want to say that, is melanin doesn't crack, especially in the presence of good nutrition, exercise, meditation, prayer. This is what we need to realign ourselves with, because it is very apparent because of COVID, and we can't assemble as we were, we need to look at that, because everything is being, lined up to go within. 2020 is the year to go within. We need to see clearly, 2020, clearly there's been a shift, and there's a shift going on right now. We'll go into that another report, but clearly 2020 was a year, or has been a year, of self-reflection. Things to consider, things to put aside, things to readdress our commitment to ourselves and our health, um, our meditation, our prayer. I've got a little kitty cat running around, so I hope you don't hear too much background. They're nocturnal, so they're up with kitty cat mom. So sorry for any background that you're experiencing in right now. But yes, good nutrition and prayer, meditation. This is paramount when you have melanin. You cannot enter a room, with, or when you wake up, you're going to be in invocation of prayer wherever you pray, or whomever you pray to. And it could be a prayer to yourself and your ancestors and your light beings and your protection and all of that. And this is why we need to realign ourselves, especially in the next few weeks as we go into 2021. Because if we haven't learned anything from 2020, we should have learned the sense of, this is a humbling time, because all that we've been accustomed to, it was snatched away from us in a blinking of an eye. So all that we knew about life and living and doing and going and being, it's been changed just like that. So we have to be very, very mindful of the energy shifts. The planetary shifts are major. in the next few weeks. We have to. I know we're going into Aquarian year, and it's a lot to consider if you've never considered the planetary shifts, because they are apparent, and some of us um, feel it like intuitively. We feel it externally. We feel it in every level of our being. And so if we can transition into 2021 peacefully, joyfully, we are still in these bodies, and we just have so much to be grateful for, because a lot has happened this year. And I'm not too surprised that in the media, they're saying, well, Black folks, melanated, well, they don't say melanin. Black folks, Black people are more susceptible. Huh? That don't even make sense. Like, I mean, we have the strongest DNA on the planet, period. If you have one drop of melanin, this is what we know to be true. So let's not dance around this. Let's not dance around this. This is our truth. Our truth will set us free. So consider going into 2021 with a new assurance that we survive, we are surviving, we are thriving, and we're going to get on the other side of this somehow, some way. And with our faith in the Most High, or whatever practice is specific to you, your family tree, your origin, but just know that we're being kept. We survived COVID. I'm not necessarily convinced that it just appeared. I'm not necessarily convinced that it just I have my own thoughts about COVID, energetically and spiritually. I believe it is a depopulation attempt. Especially, I've been watching, some reports that are showing young, melanated brothers and sisters have been going to the other side. When I say young, under 40, that's young for me because I'm no longer in my 40s. So, but yeah, I feel that generation is susceptible because of the dietary things. Things have changed dramatically. Majority of commercials now is fast food, prescription drugs. Let's see, what do I see out here? Well, I think, fast food, definitely, prescription drugs. I don't see any water commercials. Let me know if you see a water commercial. I mean, we don't even see the things that will support the body. Water. Just came off of a fast, and I just had fluids for 24 hours. Yesterday, all of yesterday, because like I was telling you and sharing with you, I was born on a Sunday, and I try to start everything new, or things that I'm embarking on a Sunday. That seems to have energy behind Sunday has energy behind my actions of starting things new, or endings of things. I just try to do all of that on Sunday. So look into what day of the week you were born, and that might help navigate some of your beginnings and things that you're working on, and to see if there's a measurable level of success that you can bear witness to. So this is not going to be a long report, but I wanted to just go back on the skin issue, black don't crack, and being amazed at some of our great actors, actresses, not to place any names in this video, but you will be able to assess, why are they skin bleaching? Your strength is in your melanin. My goodness. It's just amazed. I'm just amazed by this action. You don't even know where your strength is. I just, oh my gosh. So I'm not going to go too much on that until I go into skin more. But I think it's an assault on our body. And I think we have to recognize that assault because, again, melanin cannot be created in the laboratory. That's an impossibility. No one can create melanin in the laboratory. Okay, so if that's a one takeaway from our discussion, that's why you're so unique. That's why when I think about melanin, and like I said, my book is The Melanin Diet, available on Amazon. I mean, it's a given of our greatness. We see it more importantly, like on the sports level. So, our brothers and sisters are, showing out on their very high level of hand-eye motion, hand-eye ability. That's all melanin. That's all melanin. End of the statement. That's all melanin. So once we grasp our gifts and talents, and, for example, I just thought about something of I was watching a little children on, it was some gospel program or something, and they were dancing, when they were singing, they were clapping their hands and they're moving back and forth. They were on beat. They were on rhythm. They didn't have to be told the rhythm, shown the rhythm. They naturally went into rhythm 100%, and that is melanin. You don't teach your babies how to, clap on the beat, blah, blah, blah. That's a given. That's in that just comes with melanin. That is, I don't want to say a byproduct, but that is our ability, the hand-eye ability, the throwing. I just saw a game a couple of weeks ago, and the melanated quarterback threw a ball to like seconds left, so under pressure, and it was the end of the game, and the other locked brother caught the ball in the middle of all of these defenders, and so it's just amazing that we are not celebrated as best as the society at large can do, is just give us a sense of bad or wrong. And that's where the word black comes from. Bad, wrong. Look at Webster's. I challenge you to look up the word black. Many of you have, but I'm sure some may not have. And this is why it's amazing the pushback when we walk into a room. Not all the time. I'm not saying it's an absolute, but it's enough to give us pause, you know. So in closing, I just want to, hit up on some of these items tonight, and we're going to go into another topic tomorrow. And it's going to, I don't know, it's going to come to me like it came to me organically. So I just wanted to share my thoughts, my ideas. And if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me, Deanne at the Melanin Report at gmail.com. You can email me. And if you want to purchase my book, go to Amazon, type in the Melanin Diet, and I will send you a copy from the Healing Well Network, which is my official business on Amazon. And you'll get a copy from me. I don't sign it because, people are kind of particular with that. So I just send the copy out. Typically within 24 hours, it will go out. And I guess I will leave my number. I'm just being inspired to leave my number, my business number. I'm going into alignment. So, yeah, let me just leave my business number because I would love to hear from you, your thoughts, your ideas. And, I just want to be very transparent and open with these discussions and accessibility to me. I just want to, offer my services if you decide to, purchase a service from me. But my business number is 602-775-9665. So 602-775-9665. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions, and, all that you have set in your mind, heart, and spirit to achieve. I would love to hear about the things that you've been challenged with, perhaps, the things that you can teach your babies. They're never too young to learn, So I appreciate you, your time, your interest in this topic. No one's talking about melanin. Some are on this platform, but I mean, this needs to be front and center, front and center. This is my thought to bring this front and center because we are nationally speaking, we have pushback because we walk in the room with melanin, cut and dry. There's no other reason. We have something that they do not, and it's apparent. They can't hide it. Melanin cannot be created in the laboratory because it's ageless. It's ageless. And when we take care of our bodies, our minds, our spirit, we're in alignment. We eating right. We are living properly. We're not using drugs, albeit perhaps medicinally, but we don't have addictions. If you do, if you can overcome them, great. And I know that most can, but our society, where we live and move and have our being, it's like, ooh, I mean, it's so apparent, yet it's hidden. So it's a little bit of both. I'm not trying to say to look for it, but if you've been in the room, been in the boardroom for any amount of time, it shows. It shows at some level. At some level, it shows. You have something I do not, therefore I am jealous. I don't like that you're 55 and you look 45 or some 40. you know. It's just amazing as to how our treatment is just based on that. That is the end all be all of our um, our struggle in this society, because we have something that they do not, and they want it. They're tanning. Out here the sun shines. I went over that yesterday. It shines out of 365 days. It probably shines 325 days. I'm not kidding you. I've lived out here 7 years, so clearly it is the Valley of the Sun. Okay. And there's a reason for me being here and experiencing this, because I know proof positive the sun is melanin is a battery, and we're going to go into this another topic, but in closing, melanin is a battery. So we thrive in sunshine. We thrive in, we're joyful. I don't see, I see, melanated people out here. Everyone just appears to be happy, peaceful. Not everyone. I'm not going to try and, say that. But we clearly, I've lived, on the East Coast. So there's a shift out here for me, and it's been fantastic. So we'll go into that another time. But clearly, we know the benefits. We feel the benefits of melanin, and we're living it. We elected to express our lives with melanin. This is the highest level of expression, period. So we should be rejoicing, not pulling out a gun on another melanated person. Not that we're all doing it, we're not. But if we're killing one melanated person, that's one too many. That's one too many. That's one too many. So be well. Stay tuned for another report tomorrow, ancestors, God willing. And give me feedback. Let me know. I mean, this is just two reports in, but let me leave my number again, 602-775-9665. 602-775-9665. And my, people may like, why is Deanne leaving her number, but I just want to be reachable, and I want to touch folks, energetically and spiritually, and get feedback, give feedback, whatever the case may be. And that's one of my missions. So with that said, have a beautiful evening. I'm going to try and go a little bit earlier tomorrow. And so stay tuned. I'm trying to stay consistent on time, because I know that's very important on this platform. So bear with me as I make some adjustments with the time. And I have to consider my East Coasters, where there is a lot of response. I sell a lot of books on the East Coast. So I just want to make sure that I am accessible to them. It's a work night. I just wanted to make sure that I am in sync with the energy field, and also presenting my material. It's not at before 12, which it is right now. It's like 9:41 here, so it's 11:41 there on the East Coast. And so hopefully you'll get this another day. And like I said, I am going to do my homework and just try and figure out the very best time, because there are other folks that are talking about other things, and I'm not trying to push into their time, but clearly I just want to talk about melanin. That's my topic, beginning and to beginning and beginning and beginning. I'm not going to say to the end. So I'm just going to say every discussion will be about melanin, because that is something so great, so absolutely fantastic, and it has to be lifted up. And if I don't lift it up and you don't lift it up, it won't be lifted up. So good night, be well, and thank you for listening. Peace.